Այսօրվա մեր հանդիպումը շրջանավարտ Judge Andre Manssourianին հետն է։
Hi Shamlian community, I'm Judge Andre Manssourian, class of 1987, proud alum.
Okay, so thank you, Judge Manssourian, for giving us this opportunity to meet with you and have you as part of our 50 Years, 50 Stories project. You're a really important part of our school community and alumni, and we're excited to have this opportunity to meet with you.
I'm excited too. I'm proud to be an alumnus. I'm excited to have a conversation about it and kind of go down memory lane of something that for me is now coming up on, I think, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
I graduated, I think, 38 years ago or something like that. So 1987.
All right, let's start with your yearbook picture of
Okay.
our graduating class.
Let's take a look. Yes, such good friends. Got the hairdo from the 80s here.
As you're looking at your yearbook
Yeah.
and reflecting on your years, was there a specific teacher or a course that had an impact on you during your years at Shamlian?
A lot of the teachers stood out. Barn Arshak, like I said, Garnik Galistian, Arax Miller, Barn Andranik, the PE teacher. I remember him. Even the maintenance staff, their son was in my class for a while. Oh, Levon Kasparian, he was such a worldly teacher who had a lot of influence on me. Just a common sense guy, taught you a lot about life, not necessarily. He was the Armenian teacher, if I recall, but he had a way of just teaching you about life that was more than just Armenian language and that sort of thing. I remember one time, my dad was on the board of trustees of the school many of these years. He's actually in.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, he's in many of the pictures, but because of that, he knew the principal and some of the others in the school. But I remember one night, it was a Friday night, and he told me we're going to have guests over, and one of them is going to be Bartka Ghazarian, your principal.
Wow.
And I was very nervous, very afraid, worried, and it was just incredible to have your principal at that time in your home.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting experience, but that just came to mind as I was flipping through and seeing.
Your dad was an active part of a board of trustees.
Right. He had been a part of the board of trustees all of the time I was there, including after I left. I think he was still on there. So he was pretty active in the school and in the community. One memory I have is we switched from the Palm Drive campus to the Lowell campus in 1985, that school year. And I vividly remember kind of opening of the school that fall, and it was an enormous ceremony. Members of the community were there, and that's one of the memories I do have.
So can you tell us about your journey after Shamlian?
So after Shamlian, I went to Flint Ridge Prep. I went to UC Santa Barbara afterwards, and then off to law school and started my work career after that. I recall some of my other friends always saying that I've come from too small of a school, you're not going to make it, that sort of criticism. But nothing could be further from the truth. We were so well prepared, and all of us adjusted perfectly well.
Are there specific values that were instilled in you that you feel helped prepare you along the journey?
The value that comes to mind is that of accountability and you having destiny over your own future and your own life, and you being responsible for making sure that your hard work pays off.
How did you decide to become a judge?
I knew in these days, actually, right in these days, I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer, an attorney who worked in the courtroom. Advocating in the courtroom became something I was fascinated by and interested in. And by these years, I knew that that's where I wanted to end up. But it wasn't until long into my legal career working inside the courtroom that I then decided that maybe the next step in my personal journey might be to not just be an advocate in the courtroom, but be the judge that officiates the proceedings in the courtrooms. But I just want to point out and emphasize that my decision for a legal career started right in these days.
Wow.
And I want to again point out that it's a school putting that onus on you to think about your future and to be mindful of where you wanted to end up in life. That got me to even be thinking in that sense. What I would want to add is I always had a feeling that the school wanted you to be of two mindsets. One is a proud Armenian who's immersed in the heritage and aware of the culture, but yet can assimilate in America. In other words, we should not just keep to ourselves and thrive within our own community necessarily, though it's great if you do, but they were trying to develop youth who could adjust and adapt in a different country than the other generation was from, and making sure that it worked for us going forward here in the United States. So I look back and I'm proud of how well the students, and it's getting better as the generations go on, how well we've actually adapted to America. I think you can do both very well, and it's valuable and important to be strong in both regards. So I think that's one thing I've always noticed and I've always appreciated about the school. It was not a mindset of keep to yourself, let's just help ourselves and nobody else. You know, part of success was to be able to assimilate, and I think that's a great quality that the Armenian people have, is the will to assimilate in our new environment here. And
thank you so much for participating in our 50 Years, 50 Stories. We're really proud to have you as part of our school and to have you as part of this project.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.